What's up, superstars? It's Phil here. Are you guys dreaming of starting a clothing brand but you don't know where to start? Well, you guys have come to the right place. On this video, we're going to be discussing steps on how to create your clothing brand. We're going to start off talking about costs associated with starting a clothing brand. Now, if you guys have not seen our previous video, we talk about starting a complete brand new brand from scratch. So you definitely want to watch that video first. That's going to give you an insight on what we are trying to do in the next few months. But going back to this topic, now we're going to be talking about starting a clothing brand. It's a dream of a lot of people. They just don't know where to get started. Now, a big question that comes into play is the cost of starting a clothing brand. Now, what we're going to be covering here is from sourcing material, from manufacturing, to marketing, to distribution. So we're going to cover all of that here. And we're also going to take you behind the scenes on our startup, and we're going to show you guys what we're going to be doing on the next few series of videos. And we're also going to be covering the best misconceptions about starting a business brand. And again, these are going to be a good guide for you guys to start off following if you guys are starting one from scratch. Now we're going to teach you how to strategize, plan, and build your brand without breaking the bank. But most importantly, we're going to give you guys an idea of what is associated with starting a brand. What kind of costs are you going to be expecting, and different ways to do things. I'm not exactly sure where you guys are at in your journey here, whether you guys are a designer, a business enthusiast, or just somebody curious about starting a brand. You guys can be at different levels in your life, but again, this is going to apply to anybody that wants to start a brand. You can just pick up here, take notes of this video, and hit the road running and see where that takes you guys. So if you guys are ready to make your mark on this fashion industry, continue to watch. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, because there's going to be some new and exciting videos coming up, and you don't want to miss those notifications. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about the main thing, which is going to be cost. What is it going to cost you? We're going to break this down in segments so that we can cover different aspects of this topic. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about is business registration and licensing, and what to expect here. Now, registering a business, it can cost anywhere from $50 to $500, depending on where you're located. Now, for example, we're in California. It is more costly to do a business here, more costly to set up an LLC and so forth. So you want to take a look at where you're at. There's going to be different government websites to help you set that up, but that's basically what you should be expecting on registration. Now, we also want to talk about licensing. That's also something that's very important. Now, depending on the type of apparel that you're selling and what you're going to be doing, it can range from $100 to $1,000. Now, there are different ways to go about this. You don't necessarily need a license to start selling. You can just hit the road running, start selling, try to capture your sales, and see where it goes from there. But that's not the proper way to set up. You want to set yourself up properly so that you can follow these steps and do things the right way. Now, when it comes to licensing, there are a couple things that you want to take into consideration. First is going to be filing your business name or your DBA. So if you're going to be doing a business that's besides your first and last name, you're going to be doing a DBA, which is also doing business as. So you want to set that up if you guys are doing that. Now, you also want to apply for an EIN number. An EIN number helps you with your federal taxes, and it helps you open your initial bank account, which is important if you want to separate your business and your personal account. So make sure you guys sign up for your EIN number. Now, the third thing is a seller's permit. You don't absolutely need a seller's permit to begin with, but that helps you get yourself to wholesale blanks where you don't have to pay taxes for it. And if you guys are opening up different accounts with different suppliers, this reseller number is going to help you, or reseller permit is going to help you avoid the taxes on that. So that's something that you should get if you guys are starting a business. I definitely recommend that. For us in California, you can get it within a day. So it's a very quick, easy process. Don't want to miss out on those tax breaks that you can get from that. Design and branding. Now, logo design. The cost of a logo design can range anywhere from $5 to $1,000. It depends on the level of the graphic designer that you're working with. This is basically if you're hiring somebody to do the artwork for you guys. Now, again, it ranges again from $5 all the way up to thousands of dollars. It depends. on the skill level of the designer and their experience levels. There are websites that you can find a cheap logo designer, for example, on Fiverr.com. It is very budget friendly. There are designers there that are just starting off. They're trying to build their portfolio, so they may do a design on the cheap. So look into that. And they have portfolios on there. So you want to find a designer that kind of has the same style and look that you're trying to do. Build a relationship with them so that they can start designing for you guys, and you can keep ordering your consistent design from the same designer. So Fiverr.com, I recommend that. That's a good starting point. Now the other thing that you can look at too is going to be Etsy. There's a lot of AI tools out there. People are generating a bunch of artwork out there, and they're selling it for a reasonably good price. Just head on over to Etsy. You can search up SVG graphics, vector artwork, certain artwork, 300 DPI, things like that nature. There's going to be a bunch of designs there. Just make sure that you guys are choosing the right designs for your brand. Try to stay away from things that are trademarked, copyrighted, because you don't want to start a brand based off of that. It may get you into trouble in the long run. So keep with something that's original, and the best is to come up with something on your own. Now, also with branding, it talks about branding materials. Your business card, your packaging, your stickers, things of that nature. You want to set aside a budget of about $500 to $1,000. Yes, you can start off simple using craft paper and keeping things nice and simple until you have enough money to start branding your stuff particularly well. But those are some of the things that you need to budget with. Adding branding to your product adds a lot of value to your product. So for example, we order a lot of our printing supplies from printrunner.com, and they make some great stickers, they make some good flyers, things of that nature. You want to create an experience where somebody opens the package, they fall in love with not just the item, but the experience. So packaging, branding is all very important. Set aside a budget for that, because that's going to help take your brand to the next level. Product development. Now there's different ways to go about product development. You can go directly with a cut and sew supplier overseas, or you can go starting off with just getting a blank from a local distributor. There are distributors out there like Sanmar, SNS Activewear, alphabroder.com. We use these distributors. We have wholesale accounts with them. It's a really good starting point because you don't have to invest so much on your apparel. You can just buy as you go. There's even, I know that for Alpha Broder, if you purchase about $200, I believe $200 worth of merch, it's free shipping, and there's a bunch of different distribution centers around domestically around the US, so you can get your clothing line or apparel pretty quickly without having to stock on a bunch of shirts. So visit them if you guys haven't. Open a wholesale account if you guys haven't. I'll have a link to those distributors below. Now, if you guys are looking to develop from scratch and you want something specific to your brand and something that somebody cannot easily purchase and copy off of, you definitely want to go overseas. You want to look for something that's a cut and sew brand. Again, these do require more of a minimum purchase and is more specific, but you guys are going to have more of a unique product. You guys can charge more, and there's going to be more value there. Now, a couple things to consider when you're doing a custom cut and sew is going to be the fabric and the materials that's going to be incorporated into your apparel. Now, the cost of fabric will depend on the type of clothing that you guys are choosing. It can range from $5 to $50 per yard or more. Materials can be thicker, they can be thinner, softer, stretchier, different pigments, different cuffing. There's everything that can be customized to make your t-shirt unique. And at the same time of doing this, you will create a tech pack, which is used so that you guys can reorder the same apparel constantly over and over again. So if you guys are looking for that route, that pattern making process is also somewhere between $100 to $500. So depending on the type of garment that you're looking to choose, that should be what you're looking to spend on. Sample making, the cost of creating a sample, from what we've seen, is going to be $50 to $500 per piece. Again, that depends on the complexity of that particular garment. If they have to outsource the fabric or they have that in-house, that's something to consider. So you do want to get a sample before you order a big run. We've ordered in the past, we've had several back and forth because you have to make tweaks along the way before you actually get down to having your perfect garment. And you can also get, and along this process is don't order too much. Try to order an amount that is not too much where you're going to be stuck with something that you're not completely happy with. You want to hear from your customers first. So get an amount that is not too expensive when you order your first order, but it's not going to be too cheap either because you don't want to cheap out on fabric. So make sure that you get something good. Order enough that it's going to save you and not be too much on shipping. And get something as far as you can order from air instead of getting ocean freight if you guys are going to just be ordering a couple pieces or samples of something. Marketing and advertising. Now website development, the cost of building a professional website can range from $500 to $5,000. I'm not exactly sure how savvy you guys are. Some of these things can be learned by yourself. Some of these things are better off just hiring a professional for. Now, depending on the complexity and the features that you're going to be putting on the website, that's going to determine the cost of the website. You can get something simple, starting off like square.com and get a website for free, 1 or 2 items, make it super simple just to get started. You can do that direction. You can also start off opening an Amazon or an Etsy shop and having a simple checkout system with there, but it is also not very customizable. You have your pros and cons. You get the whole marketplace, the searchability, the SEO of that. But then again, you are limited with the way that the infrastructure is set up. You can't really customize the page, send email letters and things of that nature. So you are restricted in some sense there. Social media marketing. You can start off by doing this yourself. That's where most folks do. They start taking photos themselves. They start creating their mock-ups, and then they start advertising on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest. There are many things that you guys can do to post on social media. Those are just a few. So you want to set a budget aside if you don't want to do this yourself. You want to hire a professional, even maybe a VA to help you with that. VAs are virtual assistants from overseas. That's also an option that's cost effective. Or again, you guys can buy some tools out there. There's tools like Tailwind. There's tools like Hootsuite that will allow you to program your posts so that it will feed on your calendar on any given day so that you guys can manage that with a low staff. Influencer collaborations. Now, the cost of collaborating with the influencer will depend on how much reach they have, if they're super popular, or if they are just starting off at. You can find some good influencers out there that will work for just trading a free item. They'll give you some video content, some still shoot content. You will have to negotiate with them, but influencer is a good, easy way to get your product out there, especially if your product has a lot of value to it. You create a nice package opening experience and they are willing to share that with their followers. That is a very cost-effective way to have influencer marketing and do it on the cheap. You're just basically exchanging your product with them. There's also a lot of giveaways that people do. There's also giveaway loops that you can get in where they're going to be tagging all their friends and all the brands that are within that network. I'm not going to dive too much into this here, but there is a lot of ways that you guys can market on social media. So that's just one of the ways. But if you guys have a budget, you guys are going all out, you guys want the best influence out there, you guys want to separate anywhere from $100 to even up to $10,000 for a major influencer to do a post for you guys. I don't know if the return on investment is going to be worth it for you. So it depends on how much you believe in your product. I wouldn't necessarily jump to the Kylie Jenners right away. I would start off small, see where that goes from there, get some real feedback from your influencers, and then develop on that process. You don't want to just come out there, get a bunch of money, and invest in a huge influencer like that and have zero returns, because it may just very much be like that. We've invested in video content before, spending up to $3,000 for video content, and only getting a handful of sales that didn't work. The content was perfect, but it just didn't have enough call to action, and so overall that wasn't much of a successful campaign. So keep that in mind. That is something that I personally wouldn't spend all that money right away on. Develop your product, develop a good experience for the influencer, then slowly upgrade your way up so that you guys can get better and better influencer. The better your items is, the more followers you guys get, the more the influencer might bend their back and not charge you as much because they want the exposure on your page as well. So there's going to be a double-edged sword that may or may not help you as well. So keep that in mind when you guys are dealing with influencers. Inventory and fulfillment. Now, inventory costs, the cost of purchasing inventory will depend on the quantity and the unit price for each. So technically, the more you purchase, the less it's going to be. That's usually the case when it comes to purchasing apparel. Even if you're purchasing from a distributor, it gets cheaper when you're purchasing more sometimes, or if you're purchasing enough, you get free shipping, which a lot of the cases, these are heavy boxes, and that breaks down into a lot of savings. Now, when you're purchasing overseas, that can also mean a huge thing. You can be purchasing half a container, you can be purchasing a whole container. That makes up a big difference. You can be shipping with air, which is more expensive and you get it quicker. So there's a lot of variables when it comes to inventory and fulfillment. Now, with storage and fulfillment, you also need to plan where you're going to store your product, your fulfillment. Now, you want to consider the cost of the storage space, the packing materials, and the shipping fees. So with this said, now there are different fulfillment centers out there. There's some 3PL partner fulfillment facilities. If you don't have enough room, a lot of people that are starting off, they have enough room, they set their garage, they set up their room, and eventually they grow into a space where they just can't handle it anymore. Then they will look into a 3PL fulfillment center to help you fulfill that. So depending on where you're at here, that might be an option for you. But if you're starting off small, designate a small area, keep things nice and organized, try to keep track of your inventory so that you guys are not going to run around with your heads chopped off. That is some good tip and advice there. Legal and accounting. Now, legal fees, it's advisable again to consult a lawyer to ensure compliance with the regulations and protect your brand. Legal fees can run anywhere between $5,000 to $5,000 or more depending on the complexity of your business and your needs. In the past, we've used websites like LegalZoom to help you set up just basic legal docs. It helps you set up your partnership agreements, things of that nature. You can go to LegalZoom.com to get that done on a budget, or you can hire a particular attorney to help you set things up if you guys are setting things up a particular way. You want to make sure you look into this information closely because I am not a legal advisor. I can't give legal advice, so definitely look into other areas where you guys can get more information on legal and advising help. Now, with accounting services, hiring an accountant or bookkeeper can range anywhere between $500 to $20,000, $30,000 a year. It really depends on what you're needing. Now, it ranges a lot because there are different needs on certain companies. You can have a straightforward company where you don't need much bookkeeping. You're just filing your taxes at the end of the year. You can get away with that. But if you want something more complex, something that will break down every sales channel that you have so that you guys can understand the marketing for that particular channel, you guys want to spend more on bookkeeping, spend more on having some advisors out there. There are firms out there that will help you create these things. For example, Ledger Gurus. We've used them in the past. It can run a couple $1,000s a month, but you get a lot of clarity into your business. If you guys are having money issues, or you guys are not exactly sure which channels you guys should invest more on, that is a good platform that will have some advisors that will help you out, help you understand your business a little bit more so that you guys can make better decisions. It's a lot of times it is hard to make a business decision on a whole if you don't see all the individual individual channels and get a clearer picture of it all, again, that is one of the directions that we've went with in the past, and it's really helped us get a better clarity of our businesses. Remember, these costs again that I've mentioned, they're just estimates. They really ranges from very little to a lot. It depends on your business needs. Every business is going to need something that's different from the other. So you want to take these with a grain of salt. You want to make sure that these are going to be estimates. There are going to be better resources out there that you guys might have. You guys might have friends in these sectors that might be doing it on a little bit cheaper for you guys, or you guys might have to just hire a professional right off the bat if you guys are going big and starting off a brand. That you guys need to have these infrastructures set up, because it will pay off in the long run. In the short run, you guys can get up and running, but in the long run, you might need some professional services in order for you to take off the brand the way that you want it. Now, I've shared a couple of things that may affect the cost of your business. Now, such things are like your business, location, your scale of operations, your quality requirements. These are all essential and you need to conduct the proper research in order to create a detailed business plan to match those needs and your startup costs. So that's what we're also going to be doing next for the brand that we're just starting off, drip.com. We're going to be needing to create these business plans, to create these ideas, so that we can make the right decisions to move the business forward. So you definitely want to follow along, where we'll be sharing a lot of knowledge on that. And what I've provided you so far is going to be basic information and some of the things that have helped us in the past, helped us get our minds together so that we're on the same page and that we're not running all over the place. Me and my partners want to make sure that we are structured, that we're making the right decisions so that we can move the needle forward and that we can move the needle to success. If there's anything that I've missed in this video so far, please make sure that you guys leave a message below. I'm not perfect. We're not the most perfect business folks here. We've done it in the past, but there is not a right or wrong way to do this. There are just better ways to do it. So if I'm missing anything, feel free to leave a message below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'd love to share it again with our community. Now, if you guys found this video helpful, make sure you guys share it with a friend. This can be something that you guys can watch together and make better decisions together. Now, if you want to follow along again with our brand startup, check out this next video that we're going to be releasing. We are starting from ground zero with 0 sales, and we're going to take you on this journey that we're going to be making so that we can hit the moon together. So thanks again, guys, for watching this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Make sure you guys hit like, make sure you guys hit subscribe. I'll see you guys on that next video.